Welcome back, everybody, to the Huddle Up podcast presented by the Jeremy Hodge Auto Group and Cooper Paint, Striping, and Sealing. DG, did we lose you again?
I'm here, bro. What's up?
I can't see you, but you're there.
You can't see me?
I cannot see you. But hey, it happened again.
Well, hold
this
on.
week.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, you can hear me. Hold on. Before it disappeared, and I heard you talk about our sponsors. Man, always
Yes.
shout out to them. Appreciate them. I look at my son in the background. He's trying to shout out the sponsors too. That's
I got
beautiful,
you.
right? Before I try to fix my screen, as y'all can see the beautiful face in the middle of the screen. Obviously being very generous there. No, man, excited. Coach Doran, we appreciate you. Welcome to the show. One of the biggest influences in my life, one of the best coaches, not just high school coaches, but one of the best coaches that I've ever been around in my entire life. I mean that sincerely. Father figure type guy, one of the best coaches ever impacted my life. Coach Jason Doran, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's an honor,
man.
it's an honor to be on here. And obviously, David is my guy for a long time. I don't, you're no longer a former player to me. You're a brother, you're a friend. That's how I see you. You're family to me, man.
Come on,
he always tries to go Darth Vader mode on us the first part of the episode, and then he'll figure it out here in just a second. But no, Coach. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. I know you got a busy time with summer and everything going on, and summer workouts, all that good stuff, and trying to be a dad and all that, wrapped into one. So we appreciate you coming on. Look, there he is. So he had to make his own. He has to make his own appearances. I don't know what it is. It's written into the contract or whatever, but we roll with it. So no, Coach, we appreciate you joining us and taking time out of your summer. I know it's busy, like I said, with workouts and all that good stuff, and then the family and everything like that. But no, let's hop right into it, DG, and let's see what we can get into.
Yeah, you said it, man. He's a busy guy. So how I know you, strength and conditioning to the core, right? Like, and if anybody truly knows, especially to my fellow old teammates back in the day in Stillwater, could attest to this for sure. Like, the weight room was where it really happens. And that strength conditioning coach, that's who you spend the most time with. Yeah. And then before I ever got to Stillwater, I got to spend time in the weight room back at Mustang High School, repping the Morrissey just like you are right now, Coach.
Ride for the brand, man.
And I was getting my ass ripped by you. No matter if I would finish through the line or didn't fit, actually would or wouldn't, it didn't matter. I was getting ripped just to see how I could handle it. And I look back at all those times now, and here we are. I realize it's all for a reason. How can you handle so much stuff up here? So anyway, enough about that, man. You're running the show. You're coaching the D-line. You're running the streak program. Tell us about that. What's it like in the summer? I know you guys at Mustang are doing it from all ages all the way up. Before we even get into a little bit more about what you're doing with all that, how's it going for you right now? And what's the day-to-day look like for you right now since you're out of school and you're getting those guys ready for the season?
One quick shout out real quick. OU insider Brandon Drum dropped a little something for you there.
He only comes on for Coach Doran.
Let's go, Drum.
Drum is watching now, but yeah, Coach.
Let's go.
Yeah, tell us about what you're doing and everything like that.
Yeah, so the summer workout is I see it. Yeah, there's only one way, right? And it's fast and furious. We have a standard, right? And I know it's cliche probably these days. Everybody said the standard, but our standard for each one of our kids is their best. We're not asking them to be the best. We're asking them to be their best. And so, we have guys that are, 5 stars all the way down to, kids that, probably won't see the field, but they want to be a part of the program. They want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves. Right. And so we embrace that. For me personally, it doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to coach you hard. You're probably going to get your face ripped off at some point in the weight room. You're probably not running fast enough to meet the standard, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it's because I want them to be the best they can be. I don't care if they're going on to play college ball. I don't care, what they do after this, but I want them to know what hard work looks like, and that it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you think you can do or what you can't do or what you want to do in the moment. It's going to be your best in that moment. And we tell them all the time, you come in here, you will leave better, because there's only two things. You're either going to get better or you're going to get worse. And it's my job to make sure you leave better.
Man, it's funny how like our episodes stack on each other. What you just said, you just said you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Last week, Coach Bassett, shout out to him, man. We had him on, had a great episode, great time with him. And I know you know him too.
Yeah.
Man, he talked
go
about
Black
we
Knights
talked about
in Stillwater in October. So
right, man. He talked about what you're talking about. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. We talked about influence with him. You're either influencing in a positive manner or it's a negative manner. There's never influence that just happens right here where you just keep somebody the same. And I know that's what you're experiencing on a daily basis with those guys.
So we say the same thing, right? At the very beginning of our workouts, really back in, November, December, whenever we start, we say, hey, raise your hand if you're a coach. And all the kids kind of look around. And I say, no, man, everybody in here is a coach. Every single person in this weight room is a coach. I was like, because it's your responsibility to coach your partner. It's your responsibility to hold them accountable. It's your responsibility they do every rep. It's your responsibility they do every rep correctly. And I was like, if I have to come over there and correct the guy that's lifting, I'm going to rip the guy's face off who's his partner, because it's his responsibility. You better get after him before I get after him. And that's part of being a great teammate, right? Is loving others more than you love yourself. You want those guys to hear it from each other, hold each other accountable, because at the end of the day, when we all put in the same work and we can learn and hold each other accountable and be held accountable by each other, that's when you're going to have a great team. It shouldn't be coach-led. It should be player-led. And so we try to teach them to be the coach, right? You know what's right. Make sure they do it right.
That's good words to live by. And it's not always easy at first to get the buy-in and everything like that. So throughout your years of doing this, and you've been doing it a long time, what is kind of that foundation? What is the thing that you set from day one, your expectations for guys and for your players to buy into what your philosophy is in the weight room?
Yeah, I think consistency is number one, right? You can't get better if you don't show up, right? And that starts with me. I can't ask my players to do something that I'm not willing to do. And so at the end of the day, I can't ask the kid to show up when they feel good. I can't ask a kid to show up when they want to, I've gone through some circumstances and I still had to show up. I say it all the time. Your circumstances don't change your responsibilities, right? And so I have to lead by example and be consistent, and not only be consistent with showing up, but be consistent in how I coach kids, and that's fast and furious. And be consistent with getting on to them, but circling back around and say, hey, man, I love you. I'm just doing it because you say you want to be better, and if you don't want to be better, then let me know and I won't push you anymore. And they never say, Coach, I don't want to be better. Because we talk about it all the time. Like when you leave here, we don't care what you do. We just want you to be the best at whatever you do and get, if you, no disrespect to anybody, but if you're working at Brahms or McDonald's and you serve fries, you be the best dang fry server in the country. Because it comes with,
because I eat those fries. So
hey, me too. Hey, yeah. So like it. And so, but those are little lessons that they don't know that they're learning. And guys get in there all the time. And you know what I really love is watching them, their demeanor change, because you want to build confidence in somebody, be in the weight room. You'll watch them grow. All of a sudden they'll start walking by the mirror and looking at themselves. And, and I tell them all the time, like, hey man, you tell everybody that's Body by Doran right there. Body by Doran. Yeah, BBD. Everybody will say BBD, and they all know what we're talking about.
That's awesome. I do got to say, man, shout out to Coach Yak. If you guys know who Coach Yak is, Yeah, man. That's right,
Yeah.
Zach. That's good stuff. If y'all know
Best
Coach
playmaker
Yak,
in the
Coach
country,
David
too.
Johnson, y'all know Coach David Johnson. He's now the running back coach at Arkansas. He's been all over the country. He's been at Tennessee. He's been at Florida State.
Yeah, you
Phenomenal human
introduced me to
being.
him at the clinic.
Look at that. There we go.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal, man. What
Yeah.
you just said about Fries, that's one of his slogans with coaching the
Oh,
running backs for the last few years. It literally just says, "We on Fries,"
yeah.
because they're going to embrace whatever their role is. They're going to do it to the best of their ability, whatever it looks like all the time, man. And that guy is
Standard.
phenomenal.
The
Yeah, it's a
standard.
standard, right? It's a standard. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to do it to the best of your abilities. That's pretty cool that you just said that. Just made me think of Coach Yak, man, because he's elite.
Yeah, and that's our thing. Like we want to celebrate success, right? So we got guys that we just had a young man power clean 350 pounds. He's probably in about a month, he's going to power clean about 360 ish, right? But we also have kids that power clean 95 pounds, and we want to celebrate that because that's their best, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me how much you're doing as long as you're doing your best and you're continuing to grow and get better.
That's beautiful.
And that's where you build the confidence.
For sure. And so you were touching on earlier with the partners. You're touching on guys lifting 95 pounds or whatever I touched on earlier. You're dealing with the program, your daily base, like your daily regimen right now, your daily schedule is literally, you got young guys through the elementary ranks of Mustang, right? All the way up to the high school ranks of Mustang. And so what you're getting on guys it's the partner in the high school group, you're getting on the partner at whatever level it is. But at some point that partner has to learn where or what to do. How do they know what to do? And so where did that start for you guys?
Yeah.
And obviously, man, congrats to you. You just got a new role. You're in charge of the entire youth program of Mustang football, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of kiddos, man. That's a lot of young dudes aspiring to do greatness.
The second biggest school district in the state, and there's a lot of kids over there.
There's a lot of kids aspiring to be great, and they're looking up to you. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
How are you implementing that? And where do you find the balance with those kids to the older kids, and and how are you teaching them what a power clean is when they have no idea? And this kid's like 8 years old. What does that look like?
Yeah. So that's a great question. Boy, that's a loaded question. So here's what we do. In the summer, we train kindergarten through 12th grade.
Wow.
And so we literally at kindergarten, first, second, third grade, put a PVC pipe in their hand and show them like, this is how to squat. And we'll start with like little zombie squats, holding the bar, or we'll start with like, how do you hold the bar and put it at your knees and get your back flat? Like we call it UAP, which is universal athletic position. So if anybody's in any of our programs and they've been around and you say getting UAP, they all know what it means. We say UAP because it's universal athletic position, but it's because it's not about football.
You're good, man. You can handle if you need to handle it in the background.
Hey, get down. Hey, my dang dog's trying to jump up and snap some food off the get him.
There we go.
All right.
That's why we like to go live. That's always
exactly
good.
why we go live, because it's real life moments like that happen. We're not trying to edit it, man. We want the real stuff on here.
We are raw.
Dude, my house has been chaotic for years, bro. So no, but we teach them literally at kindergarten first, like UAP, what that means. We say universal athletic position because we don't always get football players. Like we have girls in our youth, our little Broncos. We have soccer players. We have baseball players. So if we say universal, that means everybody, right? And,
no doubt.
And I hate when people get into the whole like, oh, well, you just train for football. No, I train athletes. Because we have football players that play basketball. We have football players that wrestle, that play soccer, that do baseball. So these weights don't know if you're football, baseball, wrestling. They don't know that. All I know is you're going to do it right. And so we start them young, and then we progress them as they get older. So if they start young, then we go, okay, what do we add this year? This is the one thing that we add, and then they perfect it. And then next year we add something else. And then so by the time they're in middle school, high school, man, I don't have to teach them how to get in that good athletic position. I don't have to teach them how to hold a bar because they know where to put their hands. Everything from there is just now you start adding a little weight. Now you start adding a little something different. And so that's where we start, man. We start little all the way up. And every day we start at 7 and we get done approximately around 11:15, and we'll run over 300 kids through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Monday through Thursday.
Here's a great question for you. Maybe an easy answer. It may not be. What is the hardest group for you to coach through that process?
7th graders.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, because they're like ferret on crack, man. They're all over the place. They just can't stand still. And I'm like, listen,
Ferret
dog,
on crack.
listen. Yeah. I was like, bro, if you'd have had me about 15 years ago, a lot of y'all would have lost your lives. Like, I'm a little different now. I've kind of calmed down just a hair, not a whole lot, but a little. But it's because they just kids are so used to. I'm going to be honest with you. Cell phones have run kids. Video games have run kids. They want immediate gratification, or they get bored and their attention span is so small. So you have to coach in short bursts because they just can't focus very long. And it's like you got these 4 kids paying attention, locked in, and you got these 10 kids over here slapping each other, kicking each other. Like, true story, man. I kicked 3 kids out of the weight room today, like little 7th graders. And I was like, listen, dog, we ain't here. I'm not babysitting you, man. This is not, if somebody gets hurt, it's on me, not you. Like, everybody's parents are going to be mad at me. So I'll just eliminate the problem. You'll just go stand outside and I'll tell your parents, like, hey, they can't be here because they're not mature enough, or they need to go down to the little kids, or whatever. But that's just how it is, man. I mean, that's the reality of life. Like, I don't play games. Like, it's all business for me in the weight room. I don't care what grade you're in. And if you want to get better, you will get better. If you don't, then go outside and jack around because it ain't going to be in here.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's
Old
awesome.
school. That is old school,
it.
folks, right there.
I agree. Okay, so tell me this then. On the contrary to that, scratch out the high school guys. What is the best part about working with the youth football program? And so correct me where I'm wrong. Tell me your exact title with it. I know you don't care about you've never given a damn about a title in your life, but I don't want to say it wrong. Are you the head football coach of the youth football? Are you the director of youth football? What is it? Yeah.
So it's called MyFAC, Mustang Youth Football and Cheer. It's called MyFAC.
Okay.
And it's kids from basically kindergarten through 6th grade. So you have a 1st grade team, 2nd grade teams, 3rd grade teams, 4th grade teams. And so I'm the president of that league. I just got voted in as president. I've been on the board. I've actually been on that board since it started, probably 14, 15 years ago. We had some issues for the last couple of years. And so basically at the end of the day, I was like, man, if we don't clean this up, I'm out. And I've created a lot of relationships here in Mustang. My first year was 2005. I came from Florida, and I'm an Oklahoma boy anyway. So I was basically coming back home. But when my kids started playing youth football, I got when the board was created. I said, hey, I want on this board because it was a tie into the high school. Like I was kind of the bridge between, I was the face of the high school for the little kids, but I was also connecting the little kids and the coaches to the high school. So I kind of bridged the two. But we, some things were going bad. And so we needed to make some change. And they said, hey, are you willing to do it? And I said, well, yeah, I will, but just know this, people's feelings are going to get hurt because I'm pretty black and white and I'm very straightforward, bold. And I'm not going to listen to people's bull crap. And I'll just tell them to get on down the road if they, want to give me,
Hey, if they ask you to do it, they want you, right? If they ask you to do it, they're going to get you.
And so
some of the Mustang parents can be like, we have a few that are watching right now. Some of those,
it's the drums of the world. It's what I mean. So, no, they're great. They're great. But the thing is it's not. My first meeting that I told our coaches, the kids want to play sports, right? And it's the adults that screw it up. It's the adults that are the ones that don't allow them to have fun and be kids and have a great experience. So let's be adults and not screw this up. And these are the guidelines, and we're going to follow them. And I just think that, you know, with my personality, I'm just a no nonsense guy. And at the end of the day, I'm not looking for any of them to be my friends. We can be acquaintances and friends, but at the end of the day, I see this as a business for me, because I'm in the business of kids. I'm not in the business of, letting adults screw things up for kids. Right. And so, and that goes for the cheer side of it. So we have, I think we have like 300 and right around 315 football kids signed up. So you can probably add another 200 cheer to that. So it's growing. We just want to be great.
I'd be out on the cheer part. I'll be honest with you.
Say it again.
I said I'd be out on the cheer part. Just be honest with you.
Well, so here's the deal. Yeah, I have an experience. My younger daughter's, it was a cheerleader, so I've been a cheer dad. But I will tell you this. This is all honesty. Football has been way more drama than the cheer have been.
All right.
I'm just being dead serious. I'm just being dead serious. But I tell these coaches, man, I've coached Little League, I've coached college, I've coached Little League, I've coached high school. And I tell these Little League coaches, the most important coach in a kid's life ever will be a Little League coach. And this is why. Because if that Little League coach makes that kid hate football, they never make it to the high school.
Wow. Yeah.
So if that Little League coach makes them love it and want to come back, their goal is to get them to the middle school. The middle school's goal is to get them to the high school. So if they screw it up as Little League coaches, I don't get a shot at them. I don't get a chance because they've made them hate it, and that's the taste in their mouth. You know what I mean?
That's a man. Yeah,
that's
good
a great
perspective
point right there. Yeah.
It really is. I'll say this. On top of that, so I've been really blessed in my life. Coaches like yourself, coaches at numerous stops wherever I've been, whether I'm playing or coaching or whatever that is. But not just coaches. I've been around some really God's put some really special people in my life in general. One guy is, shout out to my cousin Kevin Andrews. He is I always say his title wrong, whatever he does, but he's a sports psychologist, right? Mm-hmm. But he's one of us. He's a guy. It's not like you kind of picture maybe one of the, he's a guy's guy, grew up playing sports, played with elite athletes like Jermaine Gresham and some of those guys at Oklahoma. Like he played with them in high school. And so he's been around the big time. Yeah. Ardmore, right? That's where he's from. That's where my cousin's from. And he shared something with me, and I'm not going to say the exact numbers because I don't know the stat particularly of exactly what it is. I might say it wrong, so apologize that. But for any parents listening, because I'll always remember this, is that it's a very high percentage of kids that quit sports. One of the top reasons they do it, I'm pretty sure it's over 50%. I'll throw that in there. I'm pretty sure it's a lot higher than 50%. One of the top reasons they quit sports is because of the car ride home after sports happen, whether it's a game or a practice or whatever that is. It's the car ride home that has more impact on kids negatively than anything else, right? And so for any parents, when he hit me with that a long time ago, I was like, whoa. So with me having a son now, he's super young, but and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
And this, I don't want to get off of what you want to ask me, but so I had to learn that lesson from my youngest son, Zach. And I try to tell people, this is what I tell people now. I said, listen, your kid probably knows what they did wrong, right? They probably know the things they screwed up on. But I was like, here's what I tell dads, coaches that have kids that play. I say this. I was like, tell your kids what they did right. Then if they ask you what they need to work on, that means they want to talk about it, right? Sure. That means the door is open. Then you can lead into that. But don't just start browbeating them on the way home, because what happens is it makes those kids' identity I'm not worthy because I didn't play good enough, because dad said I did these 15 things wrong. And so they make success or doing good and what they're doing their identity. And it separates relationships. Like it separates father, son. Like the identity should be, you're my son and I love you no matter what.
Yep.
but we tend to make it, and it's hard, man, because I've coached my kids and I've failed at this multiple times, but I wanted to tell them what they did wrong so they could do better, not because I didn't love them or whatever, but you just wanted them to do better. But my timing sucked. My timing was terrible. And so I learned that with my youngest son. I learned to go, you know what? I'm not talking about anything unless he brings it up. I'll tell him the 5, 6, 7 great things he did. And then if he brings it up, I know he wants to talk about it. If he doesn't bring it up, I won't say a word about it, and let his other coaches fix it or whatever. But I think that's where a lot of, especially dads, screw up because they want their kids to be great. But the problem is the kids don't always want to they just want to know they're loved, not just you love them because they did well or because they scored touchdowns or
conditional kind of.
Man.
Well, and something too, you brought up a good point. And I, in my years of coaching and everything like that, and then even my experiences with my dad growing up and stuff like that, these kids, it affects them during their sport that they're playing because they're thinking about, well, I just screwed up. What the heck's my dad or mom going to say after the game? They already know it's coming, and it affects them in such a way. And it did with me too. And for me, I was, I pitched and I was able to get a scholarship to go play college baseball and stuff like that. But for other kids that don't have that ability to block it out and they think about it and it takes them out of what they're doing. And it's no longer like you talked about the joy of the game and the love of the game. It takes it completely out because now they're in a different mindset that like I'm about to get ripped as soon as I get in the car, as soon as I get home from mom or dad. And it has a huge impact on some of these kids. And I don't think people understand just the effects it has really, deep down in their core,
And that affects us on the high school level too, because, dad's ticked off at the coaches because you didn't play enough, however much he thought you should have played. And so I tell our guys all the time, especially young guys, what we do in 2 hours can be ruined in 30 seconds once they get into that car.
No doubt about it.
Right? And their loyalty wants to beat a mom or dad. So what they're saying must be true, right? And so then we have to try to repair that the next day and gain their trust. Man, I see it as like a savings account. And I've said this for years, but man, you have to, it's just like your savings account. You can't make withdrawals if you don't make deposits, or you're overdrawn. So we have to continue to remember to make deposit, because me personally, I'm making withdrawals somewhere. I'm getting somebody, right? Somebody's going to get it. But I might have to come back and make a couple of deposits right behind that, to let them know like, hey man, this ain't personal. It's just, I know you're better. Yes, coach. It's my fault.
And it goes back to your point is all they hear is the negative, and pretty soon there's nothing there to, put back in, like you said, deposits. And I think people just don't understand the mental grind that
you can usually too, man. You can usually tell by their body language when you get onto them, like the eyes will drop, the head will drop. Then you're like, oh crap, I got to come back and fix this at some point. And you got to know your players. Like, who can I really jump into right now? Because like for me personally, man, and I know Glidden will attest to this, but it doesn't matter how good you are or what. Sometimes I'm going after our better guys that are on the program, because if I can get into them, then the other guys will be like, man, if he's getting onto the 5-star over here, what's he going to say to me? And but nobody's innocent. Like everybody's going to get coached because nobody is at their best, will ever always be at their best. And so sometimes the 5-star needs a kick in the tail and be like, no, dude, this ain't good enough. This is not it. Or, whatever it is. But yeah, you have to know your players, man, build relationships. Like Dylan talked about, I said Dylan, David, shout out to Dylan Glidden. Hey, Dylan, David, like, I had to get up, I had to crawl up in him a few times, but all the guys knew that like, he was one of our guys, but he's also susceptible, right? But I had to follow it up with calling guys and say, hey man, it's not personal. I love you, and you have to tell them like you love them, man. It's out of love. It has nothing to please do not take it personal. Be your best. Glenn, I think I've came to your house a few times, not to see if you're okay, because I knew you're okay, but it's just letting them see you outside of football. Like, we're human, right? Wow. And sometimes I live by the whole hate me now, love me later. You're going to hate me right now because you don't understand the future. You don't understand what the real world's like. You don't understand what college ball's like. You don't understand what working hard is like outside of here. And there's a consequence to have, right? So I'm trying to push you past all that to understand it. But then you'll come back someday and say, Coach, I see it now. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you and Coach Glass both, man. Hate me now, love me later.
It took me back to a quote when we were in high school and college. We had a strength and conditioning coach that would just wear us out, and we always came up with this quote. We were like, man, and we just get to a point where mentally we're just like, all right, just embrace the suck now, and then we just grind through it. And I always think about those. I'm like, yeah, just embrace it right now because it's just going to make you better.
So back, I don't know if it was Glidden. It might have been a little bit before Glidden, but I had shirts made, and on the back it said DDW on the back. And so I didn't tell anybody what it meant. Just on our workouts, I'd put DDW, and man, kids were like trying to figure out what it meant. I just let it ride, and it was like kids were like Duran's daily workout, or don't do weed, or something. You came up with like all this stupid stuff, man. And then so one day I pulled that. Hey, I'm just saying. So
hey, it's high school. It's kids. You never know what they're going to come up with.
Some stupid stuff. Yeah. But what it meant is don't die wondering. And what that meant to me is another saying that I had is that you have the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The discipline comes now and the regret comes later. So you get to decide which one you want. And then so the whole don't die wondering thing came through, and I got that from a coach. He's the head coach at Eastern Michigan now. I used to work for Chris Creighton, but I used to work under him. And our theme was don't die wondering, and that just like that applies to everything. Like, and it even means a little more to me now because of my situation with my kid. But like, don't leave somewhere wondering if you could have done something differently. If I could have went a little harder, if I could have ran a little faster, or maybe if I'd have showed up one more day, would it have made a difference? Maybe if I'd have showed up on time, I would have kept my job. Whatever it is, like, just don't die wondering that. Like, just do it. Just get after it.
That's a good one, man. I didn't know that's what I remember the pain of whatever and pain of regret. What did you say?
Yeah, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret.
Pain of discipline. I think I still got shirts like at my parents' house that still say that, to be honest with you. Man, Coach, you just touched on something, and you touched on it earlier, and we kind of just kept rolling, and the conversation just kept going. You guys were both dropping great nuggets, so I didn't want any of that to stop. Honestly, man, there's good stuff. We're gonna have to get clips of all that and piece that up for sure. Of everything both of y'all do. This is big time, sure. Man. This is like a full coaching clinic right here.
And Coach, I'll tell you this: a couple years ago, and we haven't met in person, everything like that till then. But a couple years ago, FCA breakfast, you shared your story with some of us coaches and things like that, and it's made a big impact on me and stuff like that. And so not only just talking about strength and conditioning, everything like that, but you have not only made an impact in players' lives, but you've made an impact in us coaches' lives too, as well too. So
that's for sure, man. That's for sure. Because I've had multiple people tell me when they find out that I'm from Mustang, and they asked me, and they know, like Drew told me, like, I heard Coach Doran speak at a clinic and share his story, and so and he's not the only one. He is not the only one who told me that. So, man, right now, as little or as much as you want to get into it, man, I know you're not. You love telling a story because of all the ways that it affects you, honestly, in such a positive manner, and how you can spread the light from your story with Zach and what your family's had to endure with that. But man, like, tell us about it for the people that don't know. I know there's people that are listening. I know we don't have a ton of listeners, but there's a couple people that are listening that I know I'm close with, that you can touch with their faith and your situation and your story. So, man, you, as little or as much as you want to share with us about Zach, and man, what you talk about an impact, man, please feel free. Let us hear it.
Yeah. So, man, I could honestly fill up the next week talking about Zach and the things that we went through and all that. So stop me at any time if you have a question. I'm all in. So because this is not my story. I'm just a part of the story. This is really God's story about Zach, and we just happen to be Zach's parents. And so so the people that don't know, so my youngest son, 2023, he was a senior for us. He was team captain, voted team captain by his teammates. Week 3, we were playing Harbor, Arkansas. Is that
Springdale? Yep.
Springdale? Thank you.
Yeah, we used to. I was in Siloam for a couple years, and we used to go 7-on-7s with them a lot. So yeah.
Shout out Bray Cook. Shout out Bray Cook.
Shout out Bray Cook. Yep.
Yeah.
Our guy Bray Cook. Yeah.
Springdale came to us Zach's junior year. We played him at home, so we go there Zach's senior year, 2023, and we play Springdale Harbor. Zach had started it for us as a sophomore and a junior and a senior at safety. And so his senior year, we go up there week 3, and man, we're in a tight ball game with them. And I believe they're driving down to try to score and win the game. And probably with about 40 seconds to go, I'm not real sure the whole time, but it was about a minute or a little under a minute. One of our players goes down on the field on about our own 30-yard line as the other team's going in, and we call the defense over, and we're talking, and I look over and I recognize the shoes and socks of the guy that's laying down, and I'm like, oh crap, that's my son. And so my head coach and I and the trainer go out there, and Zach now he's like probably like literally one of the toughest like young men I'm not saying that because I'm his dad, but I'm saying that because he truly was like one of the toughest kids I've ever been around. Like for example, he broke both of his feet when he was little, and was in a wheelchair, and then came back and played baseball, and then during the baseball season, I hit a hard line drive to the outfield, and he was running in it, hit off a little hill and popped him and shattered his nose. And 2 days later had to have surgery, but he's like, Dad, I can't miss. My team needs me. And I'm like, well, you are the catcher, so you're going to wear a mask. So 2 days later, he played.
Yeah, why not?
And Mom was not super happy, but I was like, hey, it is what it is, man. Let him play. And so he never missed a game. And then he broke a hand. I used to tell him, man, because he played quarterback when he was younger and in middle school and safety. And I always told him, man, don't lay on the ground. Like, bro, it annoys me. If you're not hurt, do not lay on the ground. Like, I don't care if you have to get up, run off the field, but do not lay on the ground. Like, that annoys me. And so he comes home after a game. The next day, he's like, Dad, I think this might be broke. And I look at his hand, and his like fingers, like, and I'm like, bro, what the heck happened? Like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, you told me not to lay on the ground and cry about it, so I didn't say anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I'm like, yeah, we got to get that looked at. So he played the rest of the year with a cast. So my point is like, he's super tough. Like, his pain tolerance is out the roof. So we go play Harbor. He goes down with about 40 seconds left. So we go out there, and he's laying on the ground. And he looks me dead in the eyes, and I'll never forget this. And he says, Dad, it's really bad. And I'm like, oh, crap. If he's saying that, then he's really hurt. So what had happened was his best friend who he grew up with played linebacker. Zach was a safety. They had a all-state tight end, went to college somewhere, but kind of did a seam route up the middle. And Zach came downhill and hit him as the linebacker came the other way, and they hit heads. And it snapped his neck, and he fractured his neck. And he lost feeling in his arm for like 48 hours. And I'm thinking, oh, man, my kid's paralyzed. What am I going to do? And all I could think of was the guy from Tennessee that got paralyzed. That he's a motivational speaker now. I can't think of his name, but anyway, I kept thinking like, man, what have I done? Like, I've ruined him. So I said, hey, let's go. Let's at least get to the sidelines. And this is kind of who Zach was. He laid there and he's like, Dad, just let me lay here as long as I can. And I'm like, why? Like, what's the problem? He's like, dude, Dad, they've gone on a long drive and my teammates are really tired. And so if I lay here for a long time, it's going to give them the rest and hopefully we can win this game. He goes, just let me lay here until the officials, tell us to get up. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. So in the moment, he was thinking about somebody else, right? Incredible. And so we get him up. The team ends up scoring. We end up having enough time to drive down, and we kick a field goal with like 3 seconds left to win the game. Yeah, Inky Johnson. That's who it is. Yeah, I knew Brandon would know. He's all over it. So anyway, so we take Zach in, and he ended up having a fractured neck in his career, game 3 of senior year. So fast forward, he sets out the rest of the season. He became an unbelievable teammate as he was hurt. Like he told me, like, Dad, I know I'm hurt and I'm a captain. I'm supposed to be a leader. He goes, I just got to find a new way to lead. And so, we have video of him on the sidelines waving a towel. He actually invested, the guy that came in and played for him the rest of the year, Zach kind of took him under his wing and helped coach him and mentor him. And that kid is the same kid, Tatum Duncan, who now is playing. He's at Iowa State. Matter of fact, I just talked to Tatum today, but that was Zach. That's who Zach kind of took under his wing, of the guy that replaced Zach. And so Tatum and Zach were super close. So when we get close to, November, December, the doctor released Zach, said, hey, you're good. He had to do all this nerve test to make sure he could not have, permanent damage in his nerve and his neck and his arm. And the doc said, hey, obviously your football career's over. You won't play anymore. And Zach said, well, can I still do MMA? And the doc's like, we don't recommend that. He goes, well, you didn't say I couldn't. You didn't say I couldn't. So Zach was super involved in MMA, which we supported because I think he wanted to do that because both big brothers never did it. Dad doesn't know anything about it, so Dad can't coach me in it. So he wanted to branch out on his own and create a name for himself, so to speak, which I respected. So Zach got was in MMA. He couldn't. He knew he couldn't get on they had told him for a year or two that, hey, you can't fight professionally until you're 18. So Zach had turned 18 right before the season, and so he goes back to MMA and he's getting on a professional fight card. So he's attached himself to a professional to where he would be one of the intro fights on a fight card at the beginning of May into April. So fast forward to 2024. So this is Zach's senior year. 2023 is his last football season. Now we're in 24. Zach we go to Together We Church here in Yukon, which used to be the old Trinity Church. I don't know if you remember, Glenn, but it was the old Trinity up off of 10th and Garth Brooks or whatever. Yeah. But it's Together We Church now. Well, so they have something called D now, or it's not D now. It's called Big Weekend, but it's like D now. It's like a youth revival where all the youth gets together all weekend. So Zach had went to there on a Friday, March 1st. And so he was there Friday, Saturday, and then, we go to church on Sunday, and my wife and I are in church, and Zach wasn't there. And so we're like, oh, he must be in with the youth. And so he must be coming with his buddies, at the later service with all his guys that he was with on the weekend. So we leave church. We see him standing out in the lobby, and we say, hey, man, how was the weekend? He's like, Dad, it was unbelievable. It was awesome. And he never talks like that. So if he says it was great, he really had a good time. And so we talk, we exchange words for a little bit. And I just, something told me, man, he's like, hey, I'm going to go to MMA practice. I'll call you after. We had just moved into a brand new house that Friday that he was gone. So he hadn't even come to our new house yet. And I gave him a hug. I gave him a hug around his neck, kiss on his cheek. And I said, I love you and I'm proud of you. He said, I love you too. And we just went our separate ways. About 2.5 hours later, I get a phone call, and it was from his girlfriend, and she says, "Hey, is this Coach Doran?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Hey, Zach's been hurt at MMA," and I said, "Well, he's been hurt before. He's tough. Tell him to get up, shake it off." We had a rule in our house, because I have two older girls, Kylie and Allison, and then I had three boys, Dylan, Chris, and then Zach was our youngest. So, we're like, "Hey, man, we're a family of 7." We said, "Hey, we don't care. Y'all want to fight, do what you got to do, go outside, but we don't go to the hospital on the weekends." Like, that was our big rule. We ain't going to the hospital on the weekends because the bill doubles on the weekend, right? So you're going to wait till Monday. We'll take you in on Monday because, hey, we were financially embarrassed. My wife and I are teachers, right? So we're like, "Nope, you wait till Monday if you're lucky." And so jokingly, I said, "Hey, tell them, we don't go to the hospital on weekends," because it was a Sunday. We don't go to the hospital. And they're like, "No, Coach, they're doing CPR on them." And man, it was like almost like time froze, man. I didn't, I had a, I was a volunteer firefighter here in Mustang for, 5 years, 6 years, I can't remember. But, so I had my EMT license. I had, all the fire training, fire 1, fire 2, hazmat, all that. So I knew, like, okay, this is serious. They're doing CPR. Yeah. This is not funny anymore. Right. And, so I said, "Hey, here's what I need you to do." I kind of went into that rescue mode a little bit of like, I need to make sure somebody gets an AED, make sure somebody's continuing compressions and don't stop CPR compressions, and then make sure somebody goes outside and flags down first responders, whether it's the ambulance or firefighters, make sure they see you. And so she's like, "All right, well, I made a phone call to see what hospital that I wanted them to go to because I knew there was a couple of hospitals. I'm like, you're not taking them here, so I needed to figure it out." So I called the girl back. She's like, "Yeah, they're about to take him." I was like, "Tell them to take him to Heart North Hospital on the north side. That's like, he cannot go anywhere else but there." There was actually a doctor that we had known that was on vacation who was flying back to take care of Zach. He left vacation to fly back, and I said, "Hey, I just need to know one thing. Just tell me, like, wait there until the ambulance leaves. And I just need to know, like, are the sirens on or off? That's all I need to know." Because I knew if the sirens were on, he had a chance. And I knew if they were off, I knew where we were at. And she said they're on. And I was like, "Oh, okay, so we got a chance." So my wife and I rushed up to the hospital. We beat the ambulance there, and got to see him come off the ambulance and all that. But it's already a long story. But long story short, he was in a sparring session, and he had a heart attack. His heart stopped. He went down. There's different stories about CPR and all that. But the one thing I know is true is they didn't have an AED at their gym. And I believe there's other people that were there that was doing CPR, believe that if there was an AED that they would have been able to probably kick his heart back into normal rhythm, and a possibility of him just like even walking out of there, not even having to go to the hospital, maybe go to get checked. But they had no AED. So I know that from the time he went down to the time he got in the ambulance and got there, they had like shocked, the fire department and or the paramedic had to shock him, 3 times to try to get his heart back. So we spend basically the next, 10 days in the hospital. They would cool down his organs and try to let his brain rest, and then they would heat him back up, and then they would cool him back down and then heat him back up. It was kind of a 48, 72 hour process. And then they said, "Hey, we're going to try to get him out of this coma." Because of how big he was, his muscle mass and stuff, they had to like almost give him twice the dosage of medicine to keep his body at a state to where his mind wouldn't race and raise his blood pressure and his heart rate. So basically, they tried to bring him out of this this coma, and his heart rate and blood pressure just kept going. He couldn't regulate it. And so they'd have to drug him and calm him back down. And that was kind of a, 2-3 day process. And then they would do scans on his brain to see, like, is there any activity or whatever. But so at the end of the day, we just got to a point, my big question is how long is too long, to keep him in this state, and how long is not long enough. You want to give him a chance as long as possible, but there's also an end time to this too. And, the nurses and doctors were like, basically he only has so much more time, and then we'd have to take him off of this trach and put a new trach in. And then once he's in this state, he's in this state. This is how he'll be forever. So we said, hey, we'd like to, we'd like to try to take him off one more time to see if, he can try to pull himself out of it. And if we keep seeing progress, then we'll keep trying. And, as long as we don't have to reset. And at the end of the day, it lasted about 3 hours. We're going to give him 24 hours, and it lasted about 3. And so we as a family had to come together and make a decision on, what do we want Zach's life to look like? What would he be okay with? And I'd kind of known almost from the onset, like, this was bad just because of my history of the fire department. But I had to let my family see it. I had to let my kids, like, everybody come to the realization, like, this isn't good. The ending is not going to be good. So our decision is like, look, if he doesn't come out of it, we're gonna have to take him off life support. And that's what we had to do. We came to that realization. But along the way, so the theme that Zach's church had for the weekend is Jesus is better. That was kind of their theme, which is crazy because there's a song called Jesus is Better. And here's the crazy thing about the whole deal. When we went to Arkansas and stayed at the church there, I cannot remember the church. They have a school there, but anyway,
Shiloh.
What is it? Was it
Shiloh Christian?
That might have been where it was.
It might be. It's in Springdale. It's a church and a school. So or Cross Church, maybe.
I think it was Cross Church.
Cross Church, yeah.
Yes, it was.
They're affiliated with Shiloh Christian. So
okay. Yep. So, and here's how I know, because it says Cross Church Worship, but the guy who wrote the song "Jesus Is Better" that they played for that weekend at their revival was from that church. And that guy had actually come when we stayed there, came and just kind of said hi to our football team. Yeah. Little did we know 6 months later, his song was going to be the theme for my son's service and all that. So as we're in the hospital, my wife and I, we decided no matter what, people are going to look to us to see how we respond to situations. Like, who are we? What do we really stand for? And so every time I made a post on Facebook, we would hashtag it, Jesus is better. And that really was only for me and for her to remind us that no matter what happens, Jesus is better. No matter if Zach was fully healed and walked out of there, or if we had to, let Zach go, that Jesus is better. And so that became our theme. And I say theme, but that became our hashtag just to remind us. And, on about, 10 days into the hospital, actually 8 days into the hospital, we had to decide to take him off life support, which was a whole, it was probably the worst thing ever. Because they don't prepare you for the process of it. They don't prepare you for hey, you got to answer these 20 questions and sign here, here, let's sign right here. And that part really shook me, man. Cause when she said sign right here, I'm like, wait, what? I'm signing it. I couldn't wrap my mind around it, but, man, there were so many God moments in the hospital, just with the staff at the hospital, Heart North Hospital, We had some nurses that were supposed to go on vacation. They said, no, man, there's something special about this kid. We're staying here. We're not even going to go on vacation. We want to see you guys through it. The doctors, there's a couple of doctors that came in and they got choked up and started crying. And my wife and I were like, hey, man, can we just pray with you? The lady who came in for it's called Life Share, to do the organ donation. She's kind of getting choked up and we're like, ma'am, are you okay? And what we found out is the lady who was walking us through this literally did the same thing the week before because her daughter had died. And so, man, it was just like, so, man, we got to pray with her. But it was cool, man. There were so many God moments that like I could just go on and on and on. But at the end of the day, we just kept saying Jesus is better. And so Zach was able to donate 7 of his vital organs, which is crazy because Zach's football number was 7. And that's a whole nother story. Back up a couple of years. There was a senior, he plays at OU now. Him and Zach was number 3 his sophomore year. He had been number 3 his whole life. Since Little League, baseball, football, he'd been number 3 because he was the 3rd boy. So he always wanted to be number 3. Come his junior year, the senior that was in front of him wanted number 3. So Zach was, kind of whatever. And Zach was like, you know what? He's a senior. He can have number 3. So Zach picked number 7. And I was like, well, Zach, why did you pick number 7? He's like, well, my older brother was number 7 who played at Mustang as well. So he wanted to be like bigger brother. So he took number 7. Well, fast forward to his senior year, Zach was able to choose his number again. And he picked number 7 again. So I went to him and said, why'd you pick 7? You could go back to 3. And he's like, Dad, number 7 in the Bible means completion. And I want to finish what I started. So fast forwarding to him laying in the hospital and us donating his organs, they come in and say, hey, we're able to, he's able to donate 7 of his organs. And man, it just struck a chord. My wife and I look at each other and we get teary eyed and the nurse is like, what, are you guys okay? And we're like, yeah, look at his picture. We had a poster of him in there and he had number 7. And she like breaks down and starts crying because Zach had a heart attack, right? Well, what we found out is he was actually able to donate his heart. And we couldn't figure out why. Like, how do you have a heart attack and donate his heart? And we cannot explain it. We have no idea. But the nurse at the very last moment came in and said, hey, let's look at his heart one more time and see what kind of condition his heart's in. And the lady scanning his heart just started busting out crying. They usually don't let parents in there, but she asked my wife to come in there with her. And the lady starts just busting out crying. And my wife's like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And she's like, this is the most beautiful heart I've ever seen. So then my wife starts crying. And so I say all that to say this. So we were allowed, we were going to be allowed to have as many people we wanted in the room with Zach until he passed away, right? We could have, all of our family, any visitors. But when they found out he could donate his heart, it changed everything. So they said, hey, since we can donate his heart, we have to go to the OR room because the minute his heart stops, we only have very few minutes to get it out, all that. So they said, instead of doing that, we're going to do what's called an honor walk for your son, where they, we can have visitors come, they line the hallways and they walk them through the hall, kind of their last, goodbye. And, and so we told the hospital, man, do not make this public. Like, we do not want people to know because this place will be bombarded. And we still had almost 300 people. Like, Mustang Fire Department showed up. My son, my oldest son, he's on the Oklahoma City Police Department. His Oklahoma City Police, the chief of police for Oklahoma City showed up. They did a flyover on the Air One helicopter for Zach as an honorary for Zach. Our our school superintendent, our athletic department, our ADs, our football coaches that I work with, they all just showed up. And so anyway, we did an honor walk through with Zach through the halls, kind of like this is our last goodbye. And we get on the elevator and go downstairs and we go to the OR room and it's kind of just a waiting game, like they take him off oxygen and you're just kind of waiting. And then my wife and I, we know like this is it, man. When we leave here, we will never see him again. And so she sat on one side of him, I sat on the other, and I'm looking at a screen that has his vitals on it. I can see his pulse ox and his heart rate and his blood pressure, and I can just kind of see it going down really fast. And you just know, right? You just know, like, this is it. I'll never see my son again until eternity, right? And so, but you know, we're in our selfish moment. Like, this is the only time we'll be able to hold his hand again and love on him. And so we were holding his hand, and I turned to my wife and I said, "Hey, how awesome is it that we get to hold our son's hand and pass him off to the hands of Jesus?" Like, how many people really get to do that? You know, he could have died in a car wreck, or he could have died, you know, whatever it is, but we get to sit here. We got to see his first breath when he was born and hold his hand. And we get to see his last breath and hold his hand, but pass him off to the hands of Jesus. And so those are memories that you don't forget, you know. So that was on March 13th. He went in the hospital March 3rd, March 13th. Was his recorded death date. And then March 16th, 3 days later, you know, we had a celebration of life, which was, you know, unbelievable. We had, I think there was like 1,500 to 2,000 people show up. And then there was like another 3,000 that watched it online. They said somewhere like 26 states and 6 different countries, people from all over watched this service. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we wanted to make sure that our situation, that we wanted to help people run to Jesus, not away from Jesus because of our circumstances. And so we knew that how we responded, how we acted, who we blamed or didn't blame, or whatever it is, would have an impact on people. And so we chose to try to do it the best way we could. And so now we have shirts. I actually wear a shirt every pregame when we're warming up. I have a shirt that says "Jesus is better" on the front of it. And I have like a red and a gray and a white and a black, but that's my pregame shirt. You know, and I have another shirt that I wear that has, it says Doran 7 on the back. And so those are my pregame shirts that I wear out the pregame. All of our coaches have a number 7 pin that we all wear on our shirts through the games. But you know,
if you're a strength coach, your pregame shirt that you wear, that's everything.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, man. You send a message. Man. You wouldn't believe how many people, like, from even, like, you know, I remember going and playing Jinx, and there was like 10 people in the stands like, "Coach, we love your shirt." And they were from Jinx. Amazing. Right? It's just a message that you can send, and you don't have to say anything.
Sure.
You know, and I have the number 7 on the sleeve, you know, and it just gives me an opportunity to, you know, tell Zach's story. Like, you know, I tell people all the time, like, if Zach was to be able to come right now and talk to us, he'd do one of two things, or he'd do 2 things. One, smack me upside the head and say, "Don't feel sorry for me. Like, toughen up, just like you told me to do all my life." And then 2, he would say, "Dad, Jesus really is better. You know, Jesus really is better." And so, you know, you know, I tell people all the time, man, eternity is too long to be wrong, right? Eternity is too long to be wrong. James Henderson, one of the world's strongest men at one time, said that quote at an FCA thing I've been to, and that stuck with me forever, man. Drew, I was in the other room earlier and trying to figure out the lighting and all that, and behind me was my Zach's Little League jerseys, right? And in the shadow box, there's like 4 or 5 rings in there. He won, you know, went undefeated, whatever, all that, right? But one day I walked in there and I looked at that, and I'm just staring at it, and I go, "Man, they're right, man. They're right about what they say. Can't take none of this with you." Because here it is, you know. So that brings reality. It brings you back to reality. Like, yes, football is important. Yes, there's life lessons. Yes, it's fun. But at the end of the day, you can't take none of that with you, man. You can't take the rings with you. You can't take the accolades. You can't take the millions of dollars that kids are making. You can't take none of that with you. So what's really important, you know, Coach Blankenship does a really good job. We have something called Purpose Period, where we share messages with our kids. We can share our faith, whatever it is. You know, because people are like, well, how do you share your faith? You're at a public school. And this, you know, I tell people, this is what I've told people a long time. Like, listen, I'm going to share my faith. God gave me this job. And if they want to fire me over it, then God will find me another job. Because I'm not going to hide from we're not going to hide from who we are. This is what we stand for. This is our foundation. You know, if I can share Zach's story to lead someone to Christ, I'm going to share his story. I think there was 21 people that got saved at Zach's service, the day of his service. There's like, because we told him, man, we want this to be a revival. We want this to be a celebration. You know, like we had people wear whatever tied them to Zach to the funeral. We said, hey, you know, whatever tied you to Zach, wear it. Don't wear a suit and tie, because he did not wear a suit and tie. So I don't want to see people wearing suit and ties. So, man, we saw Little League baseball jerseys. We saw Little League football jerseys. We saw, you know, Little League football coaches wearing their football gear. MMA fighters wore their MMA gear. Our football team wore their football jerseys. We had Hawaiian shirts because Zach was like his older brother. He loved wearing Hawaiian shirts. So we had all these different people that you could see what tied them to Zach, right? And so it was cool, man. It was. I know it sounds weird to say this about a funeral, but it was probably one of the coolest, most epic funerals probably ever. It was so cool. Like it was so like honoring. When I spoke, I said, listen, just so y'all know, this is what kind of guy Zach is, that if he knew one of you would change your life because he lost his, he would do it again. He would lay right here and do it again if just one of you, because it goes back to him laying on the field, right? What was he thinking at the moment? It wasn't that his career was over. It wasn't that he couldn't feel his arm. It was like, Dad, my teammates are tired. They need to
my teammates need a rest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who he was, man. He had an aura about himself, how he carried himself. But let me tell you, Zach was one of these guys that he did not care what you thought about him. He did not, man. If he wanted to share the gospel with you, he was going to do it. If you were not the cool kid and you were sitting at the lunch table by yourself, he's going to go sit with you, knowing that his friends would come with you. He's one of those kids that love, like Dylan, or God, David, you would know this, SAS, students assisting students.
Oh yeah.
You know, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
So Zach was a part of that. And I somebody told me, you know, he was heavy in that class, and one of his teachers told me that that Zach and this young man had this special game that they played with each other. And then when my Zach went to the hospital and then obviously passed away, that kid in that class would never play that game again because he only did it with Zach. You know, so that's just the impact he had on people. You know, wow. He was a difference maker. Difference maker.
Fact. God, it's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Proud of him.
Man, we to say the least, I could sit here and listen to you talk, because I know you could keep going, like you said at the start of it. I could hear it all day, man. And I can't thank you enough for sharing that with us.
Yeah, man.
As me knowing the story and hearing the story before, like you could start back right at the beginning if you want to right now. We could just keep rolling.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm wearing this and it's dark under here with my eyes. Because your way with words, you've always had that way with words, and to share the words that he would want you to share, and it being the fact that Jesus is better is, man, it's beautiful. So to what you guys have experienced with that and him, just
I
live
made a
life
promise
to the
to
fullest of him, man. Like to be that young,
and just being able to in that
impact is.
Well, even in the moment, like those 8 days or whatever it is, to be able to, you know, kind of process that. And I know those were probably some hard conversations between family and God and everything like that. And for you guys to come to that conclusion that, you know, Jesus is better, and to kind of put your selfish feelings aside and to really think about what's the better thing for that. I couldn't imagine, you know, having to do that.
It's man, honestly, like he you know, when he's in the hospital, I told him, man, either you're going to get up and walk out of here and tell your story, or I'm going to tell it, like anytime I can tell it, you know. And so unfortunately I'm the one that has to tell it, but I'll never be shy of telling my story. I'll never apologize, because at the end of the day, like if it can change a life, I'm in. And and if it brings like awareness to, AEDs, like I'm in. Like I've gone into the Capitol, and we've done different things. We donated. We actually did a fundraiser, and we donated I think 16 or 17 AEDs to different gyms and different Little League fields in honor of Zach. And so we have this plaque that's made up, and it says, "In honor of Zach Doran, Jesus is better, number 7." So everybody knows what that AED came from. So I'm a big advocate of AEDs, obviously CPR training. But at the end of the day, man, Zach was a difference maker. He completed more in 18 years than I have in 52. I wished I could, his older brother said it best, man. Like Zach's hero when Zach was growing up was his older brother, Dylan. But Zach quickly became Dylan's hero, right? Because of the influence you saw that Zach had on people in the community, with his friends, across all over the United States. I mean, we had, we've had people reach out and do articles from the UN, from the United States. It's and people say all these different things and have their own narratives, but at the end of the day, we're super proud of him, super proud of the legacy he left for himself. It had nothing to do with me or his brothers or his mom or his sisters. It was everything that he did and created for himself. He was very bold in his faith, very bold and like adamant when he was like his dad. When he's adamant about something, he wasn't going to give in. Like, you're going to hear what he had to say. He's changed the way I've coached. He's changed the way some of our coaches on our staff has coached. So
that's amazing. Well, I know you,
Yep.
it's man, it's an incredible story. And to say, because I know the focus that you're always going to put it on everybody else in general. And obviously in this conversation, it's him for sure. And you and your family and everybody else around him knows the impact that he made and the quality of his life and the person he was. But that does start with his parents for sure. And so to give that credit to you guys, and that God is not going to give you a battle that you cannot handle. And they say he's going to put the toughest battles in front of his toughest soldiers. I know that for a fact, that you are not a guy that's going to just talk the talk in all aspects of life, that you're going to walk the walk. And the fact that you can sit there and talk about things and remember things, like we had this conversation earlier today, that you can think back to moments, like very specific moments that you wish you would have done things different as a parent, and that your kids have to learn and grow. But at the same time, you as a parent and throughout your life, we have to learn and grow. And in coaching, you have to learn and grow. And in life, you have to learn and grow at all times of your life. So whether you're 18 or 52, it doesn't matter. Whether you're 10 or 80, it doesn't matter. We're always trying to learn and grow, become a better person. And at the end of the day, there is a bigger purpose, to your point, and that Jesus is better. And that's got to be the hashtag, man. I can't, like, it's just unbelievable that came about within the whole thing. It's just unbelievable. And it just says so much about you guys and that the legacy that Zach left. And again, I can't thank you enough for just sharing the story.
Yeah, man. It's,
and for being an impact on my life selfishly. And the amount of shit you used to give me in my life, and how you used to make my life hell at times.
Yeah.
But make my life hell now, and you'll know why later, and all this stuff. And all this stuff.
No one's safe, man. No one's safe.
No one's safe.
The biggest thing that
I'm scared now too. So you might knock on my door.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is this. Because I was hard on my kids. There's an expectation, like, work hard, be great at what you do, no excuses. I think one of the hardest things is for me and like for my wife is, like, Zach would have been an awesome dad, man. He would have been. He has 8 nieces. So I have 8 granddaughters. He had 8 nieces. He was unbelievable with kids. But the only thing that's really is hard for me is Zach didn't get to become a dad to go, oh, this is why my dad did this or said this, or this is why my mom did this. You know what I mean? We didn't get to see it, right? He didn't get to understand it. And so, We just, at the time, you make mistakes. You think is right at the time. We all make mistakes. There's things we all do that wish we can go back, but we learn from it and we change and we try to be better. And so that's just, it's just where we're at. And that's reality. Zach is, we are fortunate, we got to bury Zach underneath the water tower. If you've ever been to Mustang, there's the water tower in the heart of town, literally sits in the middle of Mustang. And, we picked a plot to where he's right under the tower where you can see Mustang. But if you look back to the, south, southwest, you can see the football stadium, you can see the baseball field, you can see the soccer field. So, he has a front row seat, to where that is just so. But anyway,
incredible.
No,
yeah,
Incredible, man.
That's incredible.
God.
So-
Man, you make me want to give Tammy a hug right now and give you a hug.
Yeah, I
That's
think
for sure.
she's choked up right now. She's in there. I think she can hear me. She's getting choked up, but it's emotional, man, because you miss your kid, you love them, you're proud
sure.
of them. Selfishly on earth, we go through all this because time, we understand time, right? Minutes, days, hours, but in heaven, there is no such thing as time, there is no time. So when we get there, he's going to think that he just got there too, because there ain't no time, but he should feel, honestly, he should feel sorry for us more than we feel sorry for him, because he's in a way better spot than we're in.
Sure.
We know that we're going to see him again and hopefully live the life that we're going to get to celebrate again. And, and say, man, Jesus is better.
That's a fact. Yes, he is.
It is pretty cool, though.
Amen
They put
to
up
that.
a memorial in Zach in our weight room. So there's a big picture of him, and it kind of explains his injury and what happened at MMA, and then has a big old quote on the wall because he gave this speech at the right. So he got hurt the week before UConn, and so he has this big, long speech that's really cool that hangs in our weight room. But Coach Blank wanted to honor Zach. He knows where, that I spend, 98% of my life in the weight room, and so he's like, I thought it'd be cool to have a picture of Zach hanging here. And we'll actually take the trash can and put it under Zach's picture. So when everybody throws up, they'd be, Zach would be like, yeah, get it, son, so, yeah, so it's cool, man. We have a memorial of him in there. Man, people, Zach's thing was NFQ. That was his big saying. It's NFQ is never freaking quit. You guys can change the words if you want, but that was his deal. NFQ. So that became our guys' thing now. So anytime any of our guys that's played with them, you'll always see him hashtag NFQ7, in honor of Zach. So it's cool. We have little 7 stickers that we have on the back of our helmets, and it has the word it has NFQ written down the leg of the 7. So man, they still honor him. People talk about it all the time. People kind of get weird and uncomfortable. Like, hey, how are you doing? Like, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, you mean with Zach? Is that what you're trying to ask me? Like, how are we doing because of Zach? Like, just come out and ask me. Like, I'm okay with talking about it.
That's so you, man. That's
like,
that's how he.
Don't make it weird.
Do
Just
the
ask.
same thing too. That's how Zach would do it too. Because you and Zach are so similar. Like it would be the same thing. He would say the same thing.
Oh yeah.
He would say
like,
the same
come on.
thing.
Like, just ask me the freaking question. I'll answer the dang thing. Let's go.
Awesome.
Dylan was the same way. So matter of fact, Kylie was the same way. Like, just so matter of fact. And I'm like, calm down. Let's go.
Yeah. Man,
but,
that's awesome.
I tell people all the time, please don't be afraid to ask me, because A, you're thinking about my son, and B, I get to talk about him, and that's what I like to do. I like to talk about him.
It's awesome, man.
So,
that's awesome.
So cool.
It's such an impactful story. You're such an impactful human. Your family is such an impactful and influential family at the same time, man. And you live it every day. Like I said, you are not just talking it, man. You are living it. We're gonna have to get you back for another round, because there's so many more stories that we could get. Your weight room stories, the players you've been around, the coaches you've coached with, man, your track and just the coaching world in general for yourself. And then obviously the life you've experienced, man, and the story you just told us is greater than any of them, obviously. But to live the life that Zach lived and you have lived, it's you guys are walking by faith for sure. And it's an honor for me to know you. I'm grateful to have you in my life, Coach. So I appreciate you, the way you impacted me, man. And on this show, we are extremely grateful for you sharing your story, Zach's story, like you said, and your faith. And I hope we can get you back on here.
Yep. God's story.
Listen, my yes is always on the table. Always on the table.
So we're gonna get you back before, like, right before season kicks off in August, before you go
Whenever.
dead in heart of season.
Hey, give us a Mustang football preview. You know, there we go.
Yeah,
right?
We'll need that. No, you don't got to do it right now. You don't got to do it right now. We got to get you back. We're gonna get you back in late July.
I'm in. Like, you tell me, I'm in. My yes is on the table. Hey, listen, though. I always told you, Good, you're my guy, man. So whatever, I'm in. Like, and I'm serious. He knows this too, man. I used to text him when he was at O State. And I know y'all are done, but like when I say I have relationships, man, like, he knows. I don't ever want anything from anybody. I don't ever ask. Like, my job is to make guys as great, like, whatever their goals is. Like, I'm gonna help you, but it's gonna be rough. Like, there's gonna be some butt chewings. It's not what you think it is. Like, we're gonna prepare you. But I did, man. I used to call him and say, man, just how you doing? How's it going? Are you making it? Like, continue to be great. Continue to be great. No matter what it is, be great. Be great. Be great. Be great. And so our relationship's way deeper than just me coaching him, man. That was just a small part of our journey together. It's way deeper than that. I mean, obviously, I know his brother, and I know his parents. So, like I said, I don't look at David as one of my players. I look at him as, like, he does what I do. We coach together. He got to do it on a different level. He played on a different level. But at the end of the day, we're grown men that can share stories and help each other, and iron sharpens iron. I try to learn from him. He'll try to learn from me, whatever. It is what it is. And honestly, I'm in the point of my life now that I know he's young at the dad thing, but I just try to give him some little advice so they don't screw up what I screwed up. Right. And so that's all you can do.
I've definitely gotten that, man. And the fact that he's being honest, Drew, he came up, he celebrated the last Bedlam with us. He came to the last Bedlam game.
I did.
Hung out after the game.
Okay.
I'm not trying to bring it up, but we are trying to keep Bedlam alive.
I won't bring up 90,
he was on the right
19
side
and 1,
He was on the right side of things that day of Bedlam, the last one, man.
And also, Drake Stoops got pulled in the end zone and no call was made.
Wow, now we're talking about specific plays. The game's over. I don't know. I mean, I just know we celebrated the win. That's what happened. And
that's okay. Hey. And then you won't schedule the game now. So I see how it is. I get it. It's okay.
You're gonna go into the weeds of that. You know what the ADs are talking about?
They're not talking about. We don't need the game anymore. We won enough. So
I think Oklahoma needs the game. I think
Oklahoma State needs the game more than Oklahoma.
No, I'm just saying the state of Oklahoma.
Oh, yes. But Oklahoma State needs the game far more than OU does.
Whoever thought Jason Doran would be the mediator here? My gosh. So last question.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, though, because I got the opportunity to coach Glee.
Yeah, you coach both guys, both sides.
I got to coach Josh Cooper, but I also got to coach Bronson Irwin, who played at OU, Jacoby Johnson, who's at OU. So that's the beauty of the weight room guy, just so y'all know. The weight room guy gets to coach everybody. So you get to claim everybody. And, I didn't really coach Jacoby because I'm the D-line coach, but if you're the weight room guy, you get to go, I coached everybody.
All right, so
at least yelled at them.
Yeah, so you get to be the mediator. You coach guys on both sides. But I need to know right now, on the spot, to keep Bedlam alive, you driving north or you driving south?
Man, right now I'd have to say I'm driving north.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap. That's a great show.
Hey, and this is
our
why
sponsors
for the lame cheese fries. I got it.
Listen, here's what I
got bacon on.
I root for coaches. But really, I root for my players, right? I root for my players. I'm a football fan. I'm a football coach. But who I really root for is head coaches and my players. And I love Brent Venables. I think he does a great job. And But our DC now is really tight with Oklahoma State's head coach. They coach together back at Incarnate Word, and like they have a history. So they've been good to us. But honestly, man, it was a pleasure to coach Josh Cooper. It was a pleasure to coach Glidden. I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm just a high school football coach. My opinion really doesn't matter, and I just I just love my players that I coach. Now I'm their number one fan, and we'll be.
Did you hear that,
You answered correctly
Did you hear
today.
that?
Listen,
His opinion doesn't matter.
Listen.
He said it.
He said he's driving north. That's what I heard.
But he also said his opinion didn't matter. So what
his opinion matters. He's a strength coach. It always matters.
Listen, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I would tell you. I'm driving north if Bedlam's in Stillwater, and I'm gonna drive south if it's in Norman.
And the last one was in Stillwater, so
hey,
and I was there.
And I'll let you know, I might be driving further north this weekend, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, you know,
hey, Drew, I know. Hey,
we're still playing baseball. In case you were wondering,
we give each other shit. We do. We give each other crap about it. I'm all for it. But we are trying to keep Bedlam alive. It's one of the missions of the show.
That's right.
And I will say, I am rooting for you guys this weekend.
Yeah, who is you guys?
I'm rooting for you guys this weekend.
Okay. He meant to say.
Yeah, he meant to
never. Never will I ever.
That's okay. I get it.
Come on, man.
Hey,
Coach, I do. I really do. I think they've done a great job. They got hot at the right time, and they're rolling. They've been fun as hell to watch.
Yeah,
they're spanking everybody.
Dude,
man.
those freshman pitchers have got it going, man.
They're rolling, man. So it is fun to watch.
I do. North Carolina's a tough team.
Yeah, but man, it's baseball, man. You're the hottest team right now. A lot of times that comes out on top. So if they're bringing it back to the state, I'm not like some people where they're just that much of a hater. That's not my world. I love to talk shit and do the whole thing, but man, I do. I hope they bring it home this weekend, man. I'm wishing them the best.
It reminds me of the last time they won it. Their record wasn't super great, but they got hot late. You know, the last time OU won it. So
that's fact. That's a fact. So, well, Coach, again, man, we appreciate you. Man, this was a blast. You dropped some great nuggets on us tonight. Obviously, sharing your story with about Zach's story, and man, we can't thank you enough. And I can't wait to get a Mustang preview.
Hey,
again at the end of July.
I'm telling you,
before the season
you let me know
starts.
I'm in.
We're having it.
We'll be ready. I'll be real fired up then.
We're having it, man. We're having it for sure. I don't know if we kind of lost Drew here, if he's cutting out at the end. Drew, you got us? Oh, there we go. Come on, we got a little circle loading circle. Shut it back. Get this thing shut down. If not, it's okay. Hey, first time for everything. My first time wrapping up the show. It might have to be. If it is, man, that's all right. But Coach, appreciate it. Shout out to the sponsors, Cooper Paint, Striping, and Seal. You mentioned it, Josh Cooper earlier. Him and his dad's company, man. That's what you see here.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, hey, man. I was just giving my first shout out to the sponsors to close us down.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I always do it. So you keep going.
Well, you're better at it for sure. I'm just trying to take notes. I've been taking notes and figuring out how to do it. But again, Cooper Paint, Striping, and Seal, we appreciate you guys. It is a shout out to Josh Cooper and his dad, Mike, running the show there. They do a great job getting all your striping needs taken care of. And then to the Jeremy Hodge Auto Group, man, been a part of us on the show for a long time. Great people down there. Go check them out.
Hey, Ardmore.
They got all your needs.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Ardmore. Another shout out to Ardmore, man. Southern part of the state. Coach Doran, thanks again. Love it that you're repping the Morsi on the hat, man.
Hey, man.
I want to do something. I want to do something that we have not done on this show. And Coach, I don't think you would mind it. And if anybody else doesn't mind it, but Coach, I want you to pray us out before we leave. I think that would be fitting.
Oh, man.
Let's do it.
For sure, man.
Please.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I got you. Here we go. Lord, just thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for, Drew, and thank you for David for what they're doing, man, getting guys on the show and just living life and having fun and fellowshipping with people. Lord, just thank you for this opportunity that you've allowed me to be on the show with them. And thank you for the fellowship. And Lord, we just pray that we become better men, become better fathers and husbands, Lord, and just pray that guide those that we're responsible for in the right direction, point them back to you, Lord. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for your mercy and grace. And Lord, we know that Jesus is better. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I thought that was fitting for our show
Beautiful.
and everything like that. But Coach,
Beautiful.
man, incredible story, incredible impact you continue to make, not only on the lives of the kids in Mustang, but all around the people that you come in contact with. And I know my life has been impacted by you as well, too. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate both of you guys. And I'm serious, man. If y'all really want to hear my nonsense in the future, I'm in. Just, Dave knows he can.
Hey, it's all nonsense on here anyway, so we know.
So,
we should probably rename the show that.
Yeah.
The Nonsense Podcast.
But yeah. I'd love to come back on.
I'm holding you to that. I'm going to have a list of questions about Mustang going into the season.
Hey, I got them.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Amen.
Guys, we will see you again next week for another episode of the Huddle Up Podcast. Take care.